Let's hope that today does not include any snafus like forgetting to hit record, etc. That's my hope anyway. So I am pulling out my Kuretake. I was introduced to these by Alina Hennessy. If you don't know Alina, she does absolutely beautiful work. I sign up for all of her classes without actually taking them. That's something I'd really like to change in my life, because it's a true fact that I have over the years spent thousands and thousands of dollars on classes that I then never even logged into, and then just sort of stuck with my own sort of flow, which is fine, that's fine, but it's really not a great way to skills build. So one of my goals right now is to, get to the point where I'm actually taking the classes I've signed up for. Anyway, I am on day 5 of my Sober 90 challenge, day 76 of my 100-day project, which is going to morph after the 100 days have been completed into something else, and we'll talk about that some other time. I'm just going to activate these, get them nice and juicy. That's my favorite way to work with these, and I am wanting to work with things sort of compartmentalized today. So I'm just going to make shapes on the paper. So I've got my 2 cups of water here, one for grabbing fresh water and one for cleaning my brush, and I'm just going to make shapes, keeping them separate from each other just because I don't know, there's something about that right now that's really good for my brain. It's what my brain wants. I wish my eyes were better, but that's the thing we're going to get resolved at the end of this year. I'm due for cataract surgery. Long overdue, actually. Should have got that done years ago, but it is what it is. Working on it now, though. So I'm not thinking too much about my palette here. I'm just gonna go with what feels good. And I'm trying not to get too fussed about these shapes that I'm making. I don't want them to be perfect. Let's see what wants to go beside that. It's kind of a maroon color there. Let's go with this yellow ochreish color. It's a very deep yellow. Put a little stripey stripe there. I almost went into my maroon there. Oh, now I have Taylor Swift stuck in my head, of course. Yeah, so there's no palette in mind. I'm not, looking at like a color wheel. I'm not thinking triadic or analogous or any of those fun color schemes that I learned as a teacher and participant in Kaleidoscope. I'm just going with what feels good in the moment, so very intuitively putting down color. Why not? Miraculously reaching for some yellow. Who the heck am I? It's pretty buttery there. Just stand to use more water. I might also want to consider switching to a bigger brush. Back to this color. So I think I've established my palette. So I've got this really super bright lemony yellow. I've got this sort of burgundy-ish, maroonish color. I've got this orange yellow color, which I think is yellow ochre. That was awfully close. That might bleed. So when you have shaky hands like mine and you're trying to do something like this where you want to mind the gap, I just love that phrase, between the colors, you know, just know that you can come in after and just use white acrylic paint to make those gaps. And don't feel like that's cheating, that's mixed media, right? I'm going to reach for a bigger brush here. I feel like I'm being held back by this brush. I don't like it. So I went to Sunfest with Kenny yesterday. Sunfest is an annual vendor festival that happens at Victoria Park here in London, Ontario. So I was supposed to go to Pottery, but when I got to Pottery, I realized that it was closed. I had booked in, but apparently I just booked in under the wire. So because there was only one person booked in, me, who had booked in the moment that they were actually shutting down registration for studio time. I just got in under the wire, but they didn't see it because they had just shut it down. So anyway, I went into Pottery, but it was closed. So I wandered over to Sunfest to see Kimmy as planned. That was the original plan anyway. Pottery, and then I was gonna stop in at Sunfest. And Sunfest is pretty, you know, I knew it was gonna be a challenge for me. They've got a fabulous beer garden. Usually when I go to Sunfest, it's the first place I head is the beer garden. But I didn't. Also, usually when I head to Pottery, I stop in afterwards for a double Jameson. I mean, I'm such a regular there that when they see me walk in, they pour up a double. They don't even need to ask, but I walked right past Joe's, I walked right past the beer garden. Some things I'm noticing here in day 5 is that my love for food is roaring back with a vengeance, which I am really grateful for. I made myself a massive pot of pesto spaghetti yesterday, and it was delicious, and I actually had it for breakfast this morning. So, and there's enough for lunch. So food. I'm lucky. I'm not really a sweet tooth, and I'm not really like a big snacker. So I don't see that becoming like my substitution for wine. I'm trying to establish a painting instead of drinking habit. So far, so good, right? Also going to meetings instead of drinking, multiple meetings a day, treating the whole thing like a part-time job. I feel really proud of myself though. I did something really scary today, and I sat down and, calculated the absolute waste of money. I'm not going to go into the numbers because, there's a little bit of like, yikes around that for me, but trust that the number is yikes. And caught myself going to a kind of a yikes place about it, and then went to a meeting. This is cute. This is just honestly absolutely meaningless. This is surface pattern design. This means nothing. There's no healing modality except that I'm actually taking some time out to spend talking out my thoughts and feelings while I'm just putting pretty color down. That's it. That's the whole point. So yeah, Sunfest was great. Kimmy and I walked around for 3 hours. My hips are pissed off at me today because I'm very out of shape. But it felt really good to not feel, wine sick. So I can see that this is all not straight. It's not lining up thanks to my wackadoo eyes. I'm going to line this up a little bit because I want one long stripe of this maroon, which is like my favorite color right now in this piece. I guess you could use frisking or masking fluid. If you wanted to make this all perfectly straight, it's not really what my thing is right now though. My thing is just to make these shapes. Very hot in here today, which is misery for me. I don't regulate my temperature very well, so I'm definitely feeling it. That was a lot of paint. That little tiny area. I might want to switch brushes now. Just gonna wick some of that up. Yeah, that's better. That smaller brush. There is, as always, a cat hair. This would make a great, once I'm finished mark making and doing everything that I'm going to do to this, I foresee this as like a mug or a notebook cover or something like that. Just fun. No rhyme or reason. I think that what I'm going to do, because some of this paint is overlapping the tape, when I go in to do my mark making, I'm going to remove the tape first. Just so that when I'm mark making, like if I'm circling things or, yeah, I'm going to try hard to make sure that these circles are actually circles on this and not half circles. But when I go into like doodle, I want to make sure that the doodles are complete and they don't get ripped off with the tape. This pattern is fun. love, 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 love how this is going to end up with 3 little teal dots. This needs to be a bit wetter. And then I'm going to dry this. Pull off the tape, see where we're at. I might throw down some workable fixative too, just because I'm going to be pulling out my paint pens. Cute. It's definitely cat hair in here. Ah! It's all good. All right, I'm gonna dry this. Okay. There we go. I'm gonna add some workable fixative to this. Just get that all sealed in. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape. So I'm going to get in here now with some doodles. Okay, so I'm kind of mad at my muse right now because what my muse wants is to fill in all of the open spaces with block. But that's what it wants, right? So I'm gonna give it. So I'm gonna do that. You know what? All right, I'm gonna go with block gesso because I feel like that's the easiest way to get this done. I'm just gonna go ahead and put out a bunch here on my messy palette. Sorry for the banging. I just feel like this is going to be the quickest and easiest way to do what it is that my muse wants me to do. I'm going to go with a round brush. So one of the reasons why I want to use the block gesso is that unlike the carbon black acrylic paint, this finish, like the finish is the same. It's a unified finish, whereas your carbon black paint can be quite streaky. See, regrets. No, we're not going to do that to ourselves today. It's okay. It's all okay. Okay. So a couple things I need to tidy up here now that I have done this. Black gesso. I think everything's okay there. Okay, so I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna do another shape. I want a different sort of thing happening in every single area.